Well, we're back in the studio for our final part of the November Main Street show, and we're very lucky today to have some special guests for us. On Thanksgiving Eve, it's a very important tradition around Watertown with the annual Belmont Watertown high school football game. It's been a tradition for 70 or so years and has become quite a rivalry over those years. Lately, Watertown's had a lot of success in their football program over the past 10 or 11 years under John Barbady. In particular, the team has had several Middlesex League champions, and overall, again this year, they have another fine team. But we're here tonight to celebrate a time a little bit before Coach Barbady's arrival. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is the 1968 Watertown High School team that has the infamous distinction of going 0 for 9. Now, this picture right here is from the Belmont-Watertown game exactly 16 years ago. This is the 0-9 team listening to the national anthem at Belmont High School's field. Now, in honor of that team, who we have here tonight is the celebrated Watertown 0-9 Alumni Club. I'd like to introduce them to everybody and thank them for coming here tonight to celebrate Thanksgiving evening. First, I have Nick Pappas here, who's the president of the 0-9 Club. To his right is Steve Venezia, who's the vice president. And to the far right is my brother, Wally Oates, who's the secretary of the 0-9 Club. Now, a lot of you people in town have probably heard of the 0-9 Club. What they have done is they've taken that 0-9 season and turned it into a regular event, and they've kept together, and they've grown and grown every year in terms of notoriety and in terms of membership to their club. I'd like to start things off with the president of the club, with Nick Pappas, and just let Nick give us a little background on the 1968 team and how the 0-9 Club got started. And why don't I turn it over to you, Nick, and you can give us some background on it.
Thanks real lot, Billy. The 0-9 Alumni Club was originated back in 1973 by 3 members of that 68 Watertown High School team that endured the dubious 0-9 record, the worst in Watertown's history. The idea came about when it was decided that we stage a 5-year reunion for this infamous 68 squad. The first reunion was held on the night before Thanksgiving at Sacco's Bar and Grill, where about 30 of the team members and numerous supporters, followers of the squad, met and rehashed old memories and times. The group also arranged to meet the next day at the 50-yard line to cheer on the 73 squad, which Billy, you were a member of, who defeated Belmont 32-6 to finish at 9-1 and also became Middlesex League champions for the first time. Thus, the now tradition was set. The overwhelming success of the first reunion gave us an idea to form an organized and permanent club for the main purpose to support Watertown High School football, particularly around Thanksgiving Day time. Despite that we were very unsuccessful during our playing days, we wanted to show everyone that winning wasn't the most important thing in interscholastic athletics, that many positive and lasting experiences and values can be achieved through participation in high school sports. In the years since, the 0-9 reunions have become the focal point of the Thanksgiving Day weekend for many Raider alumnus and followers. The ever popular 0-9 souvenir programs, special awards and guests, buffet dinner, the dancing and music have all become permanent fixtures in the get-togethers. Highlighting the evening usually is the showing of the 2 0-9 film productions, which the 0-9 Alumni Club made up, which was Show Us Your 0-9 Bumper Sticker and the 0-9 Story, along with the traditional 68 game film with Belmont. The 0-9 Alumni Club has also sponsored a number of different activities to promote Watertown High School football and the club in general. And our Vice President Steve Venezia will discuss those in detail in a few minutes. We've also received much favorable publicity and support over the past years from a very number of different groups and media. And our Secretary Wally Oates will also describe some of the more noteworthy ones. The club, in closing, has continually grown in numbers each year to a point where we actually had to turn people away at our gala 15th anniversary last year, which was held at the Invets Hall. But I think in general, the 0-9 Alumni Club has become an established annual tradition in Watertown, along with the Thanksgiving Day ball game and festivities for that weekend.
Okay. Well, that's some history on the subject, and we talk about the different reunions and the achievements. Why don't we turn it over to Steve, and why don't you tell us some of the things that the club has accomplished and what it's done over the years?
As Nick mentioned, Bill, besides meeting every year for a reunion for old teammates and fans, we have also have done several things which I think are noteworthy. Among them, we have given a trophy, Thanksgiving Day, to the outstanding linemen in Watertown. We felt that oftentimes the linemen are the most neglected members of the team, and usually the award goes to one of the backs of the quarterback. Mm-hmm. We've also in the past given a scholarship for 0-9, and we've also given special awards to some of our members. Noteworthy is Peter Rufo, who several years ago brought St. Pat's to a 10-0 record. Mm-hmm. And of course, we've also gone the other way where Frank Damasio, who was on an 0-9 team, turned around and coached a team that unfortunately went 0-9. All done in good spirit. We have also meet at the 50-yard line. This 1-9 sign, we feel, is a much tradition at the Thanksgiving game as anything else. We also have come out with many of our memorabilia. Among them was last year's commemorative hat.
A number of places that have written day. And a halftime guest, and he was introduced as the president of the 0-9 alumni. The Boston Herald has put us in as a good news column. It seems to be as strange as that. So on. But there is that 2 years ago, the 0-9 Alumni Club made the front page of the Boston Globe. What I have right here, this whole thing stays together for me, is the Boston Friday, November 26, 1982. And what that is, down here, is the 0-9 Alumni Club. There with begins, lesson, lose it up. This show.
We have a massive audience out there that's watching. We've been very serious now talking about the club, giving it some history, and that has absolutely nothing in common with how the reunions actually are. I've been to a few myself, and certainly have the whole act down pat regarding the 1968 mentioned earlier, and we do have fortunate to have a couple clips. And I think, Stephen, why don't I give you a couple seconds to just set up exactly what these two film clips are about, and then we'll cut to the film in a minute.
Well, briefly, Bill, bumper sticker. We had a big bumper sticker drive, 1977, I believe. And what we did is we picked a typical day in Boston, and we went into Boston to see who had 0-9 bumper stickers. The second movie was about an 0-9, about an 0-9er, and we'll see scenes from the life of a typical 0-9er. Mm-hmm. And if you want to run them, perhaps I can...
Well, I think movies will be over the airwaves.
Yes, it's exclusive footage.
So either an award or a lawsuit is probably in order at any moment. But why don't I give the signal, and if we could cut to the film now, we'll take a look at pieces of the 0-9 movies. Okay, Steve, if you could help us and give us a little narration. It looks like the bumper sticker movie coming up here.
This right here is somewhat of a tragic scene, Bill. This man never recovered from Chris Zarba's resignation at the Watertown High School band. Here he is playing Buckle Down Red Raiders on his trumpet with his bumper sticker. Somewhat of a tragedy. And here is a local vendor in Boston putting on his 0-9 bumper sticker on his pretzel cart with a little help from our staff. And here he is telling Nick to come back and pay for his pretzel. There is the official 0-9 statue in Boston, and there is President Nick Pappas dedicating the monument. And here we have from Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, 0-9 fans who bust up to pay tribute to 0-9 on 0-9 Day.
Must have surprised you how many people actually had bumper stickers.
Yes, we never realized the depth of this. And of course, here is the workouts for the 0-9 official drill team. As you can see, here they are lining up, fighting for position. Obviously, they need a little more work on their drills. Nick needs a little more work on his camera. It was a 0-9. They wore red and white uniforms to commemorate the occasion for us. This is from the 0-9er film strip. This is an 0-9 wedding. You see it taking place, obviously, in a football field, bride in the semi-handsome groom, meeting on the 50-yard line where referee Minister John Strickland will perform the ceremony. This is a unique occasion for an 0-9er.
And when the exchange of footballs is always...
Here they are, no holding, no offsides, no clipping, and no personal fouls. They both agree.
Wind it up.
Winds it up, and they have the solemn exchange of footballs, and they are 0-9er in life. The bride in the official 0-9 mobile, you see the football cleats tied to the trunk as they ride off into the sunset. Beautiful. And here we are with exclusive footage of the Belmont rally. This time with 0-8. It wasn't a mandatory rally, as you can see. The crowds didn't exactly pour out. However, the spirit for the team was still there. Now you see the crowd starting to file in. There was one person, and I believe, if my memory serves me correct, yes, there's another person.
Right. Yeah, I always thought the enthusiasm was big at these rallies.
Yes, and here's our coach, who could do a tremendous job in psyching up the team. Here he is giving his speech. And you can see the reaction of the crowd is, well, it picks up as he goes on. There he is with his now famous quote. You look at that scoreboard, 11:15, and there's our thanks to you. Unfortunately, 11:15, the score read Belmont 28, Watertown 6. However, it did fire up the crowd. On to Belmont.
Okay.
And of course, that's
Well, that's, I think now we're getting a real idea of what the 0-9 Club is really about. Now, that was obviously a terrific send-off that you got going into the Belmont game with the rally and a pep talk like that. I know, despite the possible lack of support from the student body, there is 0-9 pride, and you people I've heard you at many of these reunions talk about 0-9 pride. Nick, why don't you tell us, give us an idea of 16 years of living with the history.
Sure, Bill. When we found out we were going to be on the show, what I did was I contacted quite a few of the members of the 0-9 Alumni Club to ask them what their most memorable, what they were most proud of them rather quickly. Try to keep a straight face. 0-9 Pride is showing face on Monday after a typical performance on Saturday. 0-9 Pride is showing up for the second half kickoff after a dreadful first half. 0-9 Pride is trying to keep a straight face when your coach tells you that you can beat Waltham High School. 0-9 Pride is being a WHS cheerleader. We got a response from cheerleader, betting on Newton in the Watertown Newton game. 0-9 Pride is knowing which way the play was going every time and still losing in Newton High School. 0-9 Pride is keeping your heads up high after giving up your 6th touchdown against Weymouth. 0-9 Pride is sitting on the bench in the second half discussing who was going to make the beer run that night. 0-9 Pride is being in the pep club singing Big Boys Don't Cry, Come On Weymouth, Wipe Your Eyes, with 2 minutes to go and the score 41-8. 0-9 Pride is still playing the game after being denied steaks on Saturday morning. 0-9 Pride is having a grammar school band who can only play Yellow Submarine. 0-9 Pride is skipping captain's practice during the summer to go play miniature golf at Wallace. 0-9 Pride is having 37 students show up at the Arlington High rally. 0-9 Pride is refusing to go on stage at a rally without your bulletproof vest on. 0-9 Pride is jogging for 2 days before double sessions and saying that you're in shape. 0-9 Pride is pretending to lift weights during the off-season in the weight room, when in reality we're reading comic books, eating Twinkies, and banging 5-pound dumbbells on the floor. 0-9 Pride is not washing your T-shirt all year long and having it stand up on Thanksgiving Day morning. 0-9 Pride is wearing your 0-9 watch, which I have right here. 0-9 Pride is the crowd chanting, "Oh, bleep, this is it," when it's 3rd and 30 in the final quarter and you're losing 26-0. 0-9 Pride is partying at Loretta Brackett's house on Friday night before the Medford ball game. 0-9 Pride is praying for rain on Wednesdays, which was our contact day. 09 Pride was having the town workers laugh at you during practice. 09 Pride was scoring a touchdown during Friday's dress practice against the first team defense. 09 Pride was walking behind the stands during laps. Also was knowing that Wally Oates knew the plays better than we did. Wally wasn't on the team. 09 Pride was being shut out in 4 straight games. And I think you can notice from the signs in the back the scores of our memorable season, but we were shut out 4 straight games: Newton, Waltham, Wakefield, and Brookline.
I think that's an important thing. Maybe if the cameras could scan over some of the signs we have here in the back. But this not only was an 0-9 team, but you were very, really close to becoming a 1-8 team. There was some very lopsided scores up there. I don't know if did you have any close games then?
I'd like to just, mention one thing about that.
Yeah.
Is that, can you imagine if Watertown beat Brockton in that very, very close and memorable game, as that we have right up here,
Yeah, there's
12
the
to
close
6.
game, right?
None of this would have happened if that didn't occur. So it was 0-9 is very thankful to John Strickland for running in the wrong hole in the Brockton game. Otherwise, may have won. And nobody has people laying 1-8 alumni club on television. So it was very important.
I think John
that
also-
game.
Yeah, I think John also roughed the kicker.
Yeah.
Besides
Oh, really?
John,
Same
Yeah,
game?
giving a first down against the Brockton.
Yeah, John
Oh,
was the kicker, which
I think you read the wrong hole during the Belmont
Belmont
game.
game, right?
Yeah.
You're listening, John. But
The last one we had, and just wanted to mention before we switch, is 09 Pride is wishing to play Chelsea High, which was also 0-9 in the first annual toilet bowl.
Well, out of all the games that you went through back that year, I know, and I've heard them many times before, but there were a lot of quotes that were very memorable that came out of that season. Some of them may have to be edited. I don't know, Steve. I'll have to rely on you. But, Steve, why don't you give us a little rundown of some of the famous words and famous quotes that came out of that 1968 season?
Okay, Bill, like Nick, we contacted some of the players on the 0-9 team and asked them for their own special memories as to quotes they heard or quotes they may have said. And we've compiled a brief list. I'll read them to you if I may. Sonny Lane, with 10 seconds left in the Medford game, screaming over the phones, "I found the Monster Man, I found the Monster Man." Coach Ed Hayes, our head coach, saying, at this time we're in the Middlesex League.
Right.
The next year they were going into the, we
were
were in
going
the
to
Suburban
the
League.
Suburban
The
League.
next year we're going
This didn't
into...
have any, you didn't get thrown out or anything.
No, we
This
left.
was a predetermined.
We left on our own accord. But the following year, they were going into the Middlesex League, and we did have one game against Wakefield, which was a Middlesex League team. And Coach Hayes said, tomorrow Wakefield will get a taste of what it will be like when Watertown joins the Middlesex League next year. The final score was Wakefield 26, Watertown nothing. Also, when we went before the Waltham game, when one of the coaches said, "You guys are tougher than Waltham, right, Willis?" Meaning Bobby Willis. If Watertown and Waltham met in an alley, who would win? And having Bob Willis reply, "Well, one-on-one, we'd get our heads kicked in, but all together we'd win." Homecoming game, we played Weymouth. Now, Weymouth at this time wasn't like today divided north and south. It was just Wayne School.
Right.
They were a power not only in the Suburban League, but in eastern Massachusetts. Before the game, our coach came in and said, "It's a big crowd out there. This is homecoming. I'm going to ask you men one thing. Don't embarrass yourselves."
Setting the standards very high.
No, confidence.
Also, at the Belmont game, prior to the Belmont game, when our coach, as I mentioned before, looked up at the scoreboard at the rally and said, "When you fans look up at that scoreboard at 11:15 tomorrow, there's our thanks to you." And the final score was Belmont 27, Watertown 8.
Is it true that during this year, and I think I remember this somewhere, is that the coach did have high hopes for you people, and that, possibly looking for an undefeated season, and after the first defeat, looking for an 8-1 season, and finally winding down to, well, all they remember is Thanksgiving, right?
We went from 9-0 to 8-1, 8-2.
Very successful, yeah.
I'm sure that this show is going to be a broadcast on the night before Thanksgiving, and it happens to be, and I'll stick in a plug now, but it will be the 16th, well, the 16th anniversary of the 09 year. I don't know what number of actual reunion it is for the 12th.
About
11th or
12.
12. And they'll be meeting down at the Galway Bay Restaurant at any particular time?
Around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Around
so.
7:30 or 8 o'clock. And so I'm sure that at this time, those of you who aren't down there yet, the rest of them are down there and watching this. You must each have some individual moments, or either during the reunions or during the season, that make the 09 kind of special to you. Anybody have any particular anecdotes they'd like to relate to us?
Well, I don't know if it's an anecdote, actually, but I think 09 has done something that few places can ever say that they've done. To have people come to this event at the Galway or the AMVETS or wherever it may be, and they come from miles. If people have come from Vermont, from New York, and they do come down to see the Watertown Belmont game on Thanksgiving, but they wouldn't miss Wednesday night at